Haunted Hearing Aid. Recorded live by Luigi C. Russo, Chief Poet Officer of PoetLuigi.com. He will also comment on various entertainments recently consumed. And now, let us hear. Cold numbed his inner bones. Frozen air particles dropped down, down, going down the sink, falling in small trinket sounds. Down falling, wonderful snowflakes form and fall within the bathroom, howling winds. Zio noticed in the mirror a scene form. First clouds up, rising in the mirror image, rising higher, higher, higher. Then through the top of the mirror, clouds floated in the skies. There is no mirror reflection of Zio, but a flash of a skull, bloody and multi-gray colored. Lightning in background, howling, maggots, naked female devils, flash gone. A meaningless introduction to a moonlight night, spraying glitters of shine. Let it shine, oh let it shine. Shimmering, glittering mayhem, moonlight, sight to betray the scene in the background. Swampic, setting, trees dried, withered, plant life blackened. No insects, no animals, no animated life, except the shadow lifting itself out of the mud. Dark dripping matter dropping from long mid-back hair, duly dropping, appear almost as melting into the shadow skin. A constant revolving look. Drip, absorb, drip, absorb, drip, absorb, drip, absorb. On and on, howling sounds in the background. Wind or animal, Zio doesn't know, but howling he does hear. Zio extremely transfixed onto the sight. Shadow is at knees in mud, mad, angry, vengeful, seeking disaster and a wrath unsettled. Bring death, bring D end, bring E way, bring A plague, bring T now, bring H forever. Shadow being stares through the mirror, full frontal, male, muscular, naked, muck. A leg slowly rises from the mud, sludge up from the mud, tumble, bones of creatures recently absorbed. Death is recent, death is crying, death is pain, not in control of the particular area where a creature arises smiling. In that smile, teeth crawl with vicious rapids of blood, red variants flooding, enveloping into one another. From the rainbow vectors of blood, a glow puts itself forth, keeping death at bay, far away death shocked. Put the stick and bundle over left shoulder, Sith over right shoulder. Slowly walk to the other end of the earth, away from the stench of the swamp, a death smell, death familiar rot, a dank smell unique to this world, this earth, but not uncommon to this universe, this existence. Swampland, swamp man, swampland, shadow man. Ask his name, and you shall receive no reply. He never responds, only summons. He never welcomes, only seeks. He never helps, only revenges. A demon, a lost angel, a devil, a lowly god, a man, a zombie. What rises from the mud life? What, oh, what a smile from within mirror. It smiles, he smiles, all's smiles, wicked gleam in diamond splintered eyes, false eyes, no circles, no pupils, one colored eye, millions of tiny blue steel shaped diamonds glimmering, destroying the moonlight. When eyes and moonlight meet, destruction of light is heaped in feverish multitudes. Moonlight is cut to slithers, smoldering in the darkness, lighten up no more. Blue breezed night, blood smile. He looks at Zio. He picks up the skull. Human skull, bleach white, with brown streaks, and fires the skull towards the mirror. Zio, bewildered, confused, backs away, ducks, jumps out of the bathroom to a shattering mirror sound, splatter, explosion, and a loud thud, penetrating the wall, piercing the ear negatively. The air rushed from the skull, but those that were too close felt the heated wall of the throw and were destroyed, never to return life's nectar. Impaled wall skull explodes into finely white needles raining upon whatever laid in sight. Zio's legs were still halfway in the bathroom. Both legs up to the back of his knees were injected with hundreds of white bone needles. Zio cried in pain. The white needles burned through skin, bone, tendon, only to force way out from the first point of entry. Pain, sounded through the walls, pounding through the walls. Brain in pain, screaming as the white needles, bones ripped through and stuck to the wooden floor. Blood seeping from skin upon the floor, out from skin onward. Motionless, Zio glances toward the blown-out mirror, sees fingers wrap around the frame. Zio, no, no, no. The fingers pull forth a mop of wet, bloodshed hair. Blue eyes shine, moonlit background. Voice, don't you worry, I have plans for you, my precious. The thing from the mirror grabs the moon within the mirror by reaching blindly back with right hand stretching extra long. The arm stretches, reaches, grabs. As the mirror swap monster pulls the moon forward through the reversed world in the broken land of mirror. White streaks cut across the night and sky. Through the frame, a giant moon is pulled forth within the man creature's hands and is launched at a very stunned, speechless Zio. That concludes today's reading of Haunted Hearing Aid. Evil is Here, Volume 1. On to Hearing Aid on, Hearing Aid off. Let's see what we got here. We got The Beekeeper, who is Adam Clay. The usual Jason Statham, just beating people up and, not a scratch until the end. He walks away a hero of some sort. Hearing It on. The Wrecking Crew. This is with Batista and Mimosa. The best part about it was Jason's character. He just kept grabbing drinks while he was beating people up, drinking Guinness, drinking that, not liking this, spitting it out. It was funny, funny performance. It just reminded me of 80s movies, over-the-top action, explosions, and ridiculousness. Plot. Hearing It on. The Last House. This was an enjoyable twist, with the water and the sea creatures, locking them in. And was it commentary on today's society, how families should get back together and all this stuff? Why wait until there's an epidemic or something? Why not get together and be a family and not be so intertwined with technology and internet and phones and stuff? Maybe so. But they're resourceful humans, come out victors. Hearing It on. Pamela, a love story. A tragic and hopeful story. Just, a lot of stuff I didn't know about her, and just makes, when the camera's on you, you just live a different life. You're more in a movie than, say, somebody like me. There's no camera on me, no footage, so I can live as needed without, like, a whole lot of societal pressure that famous people do. So it's good to see. She's still beautiful, and yeah, it's one of my first on-screen crushes, basically because of Baywatch. Come on. That's a given. And hearing aid on. Grateful Dead Road Trips, Volume 2, Number 3, Wall of Sound. I hate the vocals. Hate 'em? Hearing it off. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion. 1. It just didn't sound good. No like. Hearing it off. Grateful Dead, the very best of Grateful Dead. It's just the very worst of anything Grateful Dead has to say is the worst. And so they just sound dead. It's like dead music. Too much music, dead music. Not enough poetics in the lyrics or anything. So hearing it off. Peter Gabriel, self-titled Peter Gabriel. Sleepy Time, Peter Gabriel. Hearing it off. Debbie Gibson, Greatest Hits. Definitely can tell, 80s for sure. So poppy, and you want to bust a shoulder move. Hearing it off. Hard to find 45s on CD, Volume 19. More 70s Essentials. Had City of New Orleans. Doing Banjos. Rainbow Connection. And even had the weird, Big Yellow Taxi. Reminded me of the Counting Crows song, Paradise in the Parking Lot. Can't forget what you got till it's gone, something like that. I don't know. Looks like the lyrics came from that. Lots of good songs. I liked it. Hearing aid on. And finally, The Sheep Detectives. I was hesitant to watch it. Hesitant. And co-workers told me to watch it. It was good, and we watched it as a family. 5 out of 6 of us, parents, 3 out of 4 children. We watched it, we laughed, and they did a really great job, incorporating goofiness and humans and sheep and mystery. Hearing aid on. Enjoy today.